All right, second round of the Second Gear Club series this year for 2025. We're at the Moose Mountain Hare Scramble. This is fallen timber, burnt timber, and yeah, Hunter Valley area. Got an okay start. We did a prologue shortly before this and qualified, and my run wasn't great. I had somebody kind of step out in front of me right around here and slowed me down, and I just didn't do great. So my qualifying on this sort of sucked. So I started further back. But at any rate, it's a nice day out. A few mud puddles, but yeah, let's go racing. They added this little ski jump here section that was kind of cool. First time I hit it was in the prologue, and then this is the second time going off of it. But yeah, it was kind of cool. It looked a little more intimidating than it was when you went off it, but I understand a few people bit the dust, either probably just not going off of it hard enough, or sending it too much and landing on a back tire and doing a cartwheel potentially. I'm not entirely sure what all could go wrong, but if there's a way to crash, people seem to find it. So yeah, that wouldn't be fun, but if you sent it too hard, you were going to go into the fence there. This is on the west side of the road, which I never really ride. I never stage over here when I come from around Edmonton anyways. We stage at a totally different area, so we're usually on fumes when we get to the Hunter Valley campground. So this was old race loop from last year's 30 Moose, I believe, at least part of it, and then there's some new stuff baked into it as well. I was battling quite a bit throughout this race with Jacob Crowswords. He's just ahead of me here, but I found a sneaky line through these trees and was able to make a good pass on him there. But yeah, there was a few guys that sort of battled back and forth with, and him and I seemed to dice it out for the most part. So it's always fun whenever you're out here and have somebody to play cat and mouse with. It makes it a lot more interesting than doing a solo ride all by your lonesome. So that's what we were up to here, just kind of doing the dance with a few guys. usually takes me a bit to get settled in. So some of these younger guys can go pretty hard right off the start, and I generally am a bit more conservative and ideally try to catch people when we get to the difficult sections and then see how I make out. But a race like this, it has a 2 hour cutoff time, so a little bit shorter, I guess, than some of the other ones. And the number of laps you do, you kind of have to be on it the whole time. And they're obviously running other classes at the same time, so you're going to be encountering traffic. With this race, they had an A/B split and then an A pro split. And normally they'll send the pros and the experts, maybe vet master and women's pro classes through that split. But in this particular instance, it was pro only. And at the tail end of my video here, I've got some bonus footage of me hitting it the night before, so you can kind of see what that's all about. At least part of it, the hard part. There was some really cool loamy stuff, but there's a difficult part there too, and I attempted to get up it, so I'll include that video at the end here. But at the moment, chasing my buddy Will Melnick around, and yeah, he's first year expert as well. He was an intermediate last year, and so he's generally making all the races, and we ride together outside of racing too. So yeah, follow him around for a bit. I'm not a big fan of these quad trails. Fast quad trails are not something that I'm super keen on ripping down. So yeah, I lose a few places here, and I'm not bent out of shape about it, because this is not my jam. As you get older and you've broken a few bones, the faster you're going, the more bones you're probably going to break. So I yeah, these ones I am a bit more timid on, I guess, than I might have been 25 years ago, which is probably the age of most of these guys, if not a bit younger, actually. At any rate, yeah, greasy, 2-track, lots of big boulders. If you're not running mooses, this is probably where you're going to get a flat tire. So yeah, recommendation, for me anyways, if I'm going to the mountains, I've got mooses in my tires, and if I'm riding around home, which is in the Edmonton area, then I just run tubes on a different set of tires or a different bike. Because it's nothing worse than traveling 4 or 5 hours to a race and lining up and ripping away, and 30 minutes in you get a flat tire and that's the end of your day. It's a real piss off. So mooses aren't cheap, but they do last quite a while if you look after them. So I would recommend running those. There's other systems you can run too, but I've only tried the mooses and I'm happy with them, so that's what I run. some janky shit here. Up ahead here we take a right and get off of this and into the fun stuff, I would say, more single track, and this is where the splits are going to be coming up. So yeah, this is my jam anyways, and probably most people that are running off-road are you know, this is the sort of stuff they like, the single track, good flow, maybe not tight trees. You know, some places we go have got some really tight trees, and those can bite you in the ass too. I broke my hand riding in tight trees with full wraparound hand guards, so that's why I run these. They aren't they take the rigidity out of your bars a bit, and also they've got some pretty beefy plastic ends on them, so I can whack a tree and not pinball into something. And it's still possible, of course, but not as bad as if you're running a rigid setup. So that's kind of the reasoning behind that. But yeah, a few down trees and just checking out the terrain. First split here now, which would be the AB split. So A riders would go right and up, and the Bs would just go straight across here. There's actually a pretty decent downhill they had to hit over there, and yeah, I climbed it the night before. It was I wasn't really paying attention to course marking, so. But here's the Pro A split. So pros would go right and everybody else would go left. So we are left to go left here, and yeah, I'm not sure if this is old reclaimed trail or just old existing trail or what it is, but yeah, I think actually that was in the race last year and we would have went up that hill. So we cut across and just go through some tight trees here, up and down this ridge a bit. And we're coming up to another split, and I make a well-timed mistake. My back tire slides off the trail, and I've got to get it back on the trail. But in the meantime, normally you see easy hard. For me, I'm always taking the hard line, but that little bobble just allowed me enough time to see what was up ahead, and I noticed that there was a pile of guys stuck on that hill, so I elected to go on to the easy route, which is a longer, obviously for the most part easier hill to climb, so they send you around and then you just got more of a gradual take on this hill. But what it allowed me to do was pass a bunch of guys that were stuck on that, so that was very fortuitous, I guess, that our wheel fell off and I was able to capitalize on it. The funny thing was, on subsequent laps, so I was able to get in 4 laps on this day, but I'm only really showing you guys the first lap. On subsequent laps, I think twice ended up taking the easy route. I just not paying attention, and finally on my last lap, I took the hard line. Oh, here's Arjun. He is stuck on this hill, and it is very difficult to get back going when you're in those predicaments. It's funny, there's been a few races where he's gotten bobbled up in front of me and he just makes himself very wide, so hard to get past him when he's sitting in the middle of the trail, but I'm not losing any sleep over it. It's just let the guy get going again and then try to catch him and pass him, hopefully. So, but yeah, this was deceptively difficult, I guess, just really slippery, as loose as the ground was. These hills don't look like much, but you run a few people through there, and I don't know, or just fatigue, I'm not sure. I have all kinds of excuses as to why I can't get up a hill, but I'm still just doing my best, I guess. So this is the Pro A merge, so they would have came from that ridge that we had to cut out and drop back in, and they've been on the same course now again here as us. So the B merge is coming up here. It's just on my left, and it's somewhat short-lived. We all, they come down the hill there and merge right here. So we all cross this bridge, and then there's another AB split just up a hill here. They end up going left, and we stay right. not as bad as the other trail, but this was somewhat greasy. There's some big dips too, so you didn't, you got a lot of speed, and if you hit these at the wrong angle, it was going to be ejecto kind of stuff. A few of them were really like an abrupt face on them, so for whatever reason, they sent us through here. I guess it brings in more hills and more ridges as a result. So there's never this perfect layout for a course where you're just gonna all you see is the cream the whole time. Sometimes you kind of gotta run through the muck to get to another zone to find some more buried treasure here. So that's what they had to do in this instance. And yeah, I mind this less than the rocky climbs, but still, I mean, it's just a necessary evil. So they got progressively worse and progressively deeper as the race went on, and some of them, I mean, you could probably come to a stop, if not go over the bars, if you weren't paying attention, which makes it interesting. This was the really abrupt one. If you hit that one at speed, you would be in a hurt unit, I guess. coming up to another split. They did have another pro-only line here, and from what I gather, it wasn't that it was very difficult. It was just sort of a one line up kind of thing, and if you want to run a pile of people through it, it might have been a lot more challenging. Oh, I almost missed the corner. Well, I do miss the corner. But, so I end up getting passed by Jacob again here, but yeah, you could go a little bit further along and then I guess up this ridge, but yeah, I understand it wasn't anything too crazy, just they didn't want to put everybody through it, so we've got this alternate line. This is a fun, just rip through the trees up a hill section, which, yeah, these are always enjoyable. Ahead of both Jacob and I here at the moment, but he decides to go down the easy path, and there's a hard line here to the right, which is just a straight down kind of drop, so ended up making the pass on him here as a result, which was nice. A little bit of loam, so your front tire digs in some, but yeah, these are always cool sections to go through when it's the fresh, loamy stuff, just zigzag through, and lots of front end traction, so you can actually go over the bars pretty easily if you really get on the brakes on some of these steeper hills. And yeah, that the pro merge was back there a ways, just at the top of the hill. They merged into the spine. I didn't mention that, but you can probably see it on the video. Eventually here we're going to be merging with the bees again. I think we hit a road of or a quad trail of some sort, and that's where we merge with them again. So at this point, they've put us through enough things that some B riders are going to be ahead of us, so now traffic becomes an issue. most people are pretty good about getting out of the way, but some people that are probably new to racing or are just oblivious to what's going on don't let you by.
There you go. You okay? Yep. Robert! Thank you.
Yeah, now we're really running into traffic. This is my buddy Devin Ladowick. Unfortunately, he takes the a different line than me and doesn't end up seeing me going down this hill here, so I didn't get to yell at him as I went past, but that's okay. I saw him again later on, but by then I was tired and also didn't yell at him. So we're coming up to another little split here, easy hard split. I don't know, everybody was telling me that the easy wasn't so easy and the hard was just kind of straight down, but at any rate, I chose the hard way. And yeah, there was, once I figured out where the hell the line was, there was a little bit of carnage here. Guys going down all over the place.
You alright?
Oh yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts my stomach. Back brake is boiled again. Shit.
Here we pop out of the woods and follow this road for a little bit and then cross it up ahead. Just want to give a shout out to anybody that's volunteering at these races. It takes quite the team to put one of these races on. Anybody that's been involved with this can attest to it, that it just takes a lot of work. So there's a couple people out here. These lovely ladies are manning the fort here, making sure that we don't get squashed by vehicles, and to sit out there for 2.5, 3 hours while we're racing. Kudos to them, and thank you, and everybody else that helps put these races on. It just doesn't happen by accident. It takes a lot of people to assist with things. So what you see on the day of a race is part of it, but there's a lot more that goes on as well, as most people know. Just one of the props that helps out these. Camp just off to the right here, but so I know now we're getting close to home, so we end up crossing a couple roads, and then we're getting sort of back to the start finish. In this particular race, we end up going through the arch again, over the logs, and do that drop back into the start finish. So on lap 1 we got to see that twice, and then every other lap obviously just the one time. Catching up to, I keep saying my buddy every time I see anybody on one of my videos, or out in the wild here. It's like, hey buddy, buddy, buddy. So everybody apparently is my buddy. But this is my friend Emery, and he's racing 30B and ended up winning his class. So congrats to him. But he was nice enough to sort of let me by here, and I noticed that he didn't take the ski jump though, so I had to give him shit about that afterwards. At any rate, this is the tail end of my lap here, so we'll close this out, and got a couple little bonus videos here. One of them is a bit longer, but yeah, this is the tail end of the race. I, off the top of my head, forget how the heck I did. It wasn't spectacular. I don't know how many people were racing in my class. It looks like there were 13, and I ended up 9. And sorry, yeah, there was. I got in 3 laps, not 4. That was a mistake on my part. So 3 laps, and ended up 9th out of 13 racers. I was dumb and stopped and changed my GoPro battery partway through the race and lost some time there, and then decided to put my fuel at like the CD fuel section and not the AB fuel section. So when it came time to stop and put some gas in my bike, I had to go for a stroll to get that. So those minutes translated into losing 2 or even 3 places in the race. But I'm not taking it super serious, so I wasn't. Otherwise, I guess I'd probably plan ahead and plan better for these sorts of things. But that was a complete loop of the race for most anybody on the A course. Now, on to the bonus footage. This coming up here when this cuts out will be just a pass that I made on a 50 plus guy, but overtaking somebody and coming up on them quick, thinking they're going to hold their line, and then them cutting over in front of you. This is about as close as you want to cut it without crashing into the person. So here we go.
Yeah, this is pretty technical.
And this was the pro line for the race. I won't really throw a bunch of commentary in here. Maybe it's going to be boring for you guys to watch because it's not the fastest thing in the world. But I don't know how many people would have rode up this. And in the race, of course, you're in a panic. So there were people helping these guys up here. But to do it solo just is an endeavor, or at least it was for me. So yeah, this is a video of me trying to get up this. It takes me about 20 minutes to get up this ridge, so not an easy climb.
You want to get I don't know where a safe place is, but
maybe I'll go over here to the left.
Nice. Yeah, this is no joke. Oh. Yeah, there's a sweet route right there that's just gonna murder you.
Take the bit of speed the guy needs.
Yeah. For the pros, yes.
Just pros.
I think after this one, it's not.
Well, it gets worse. This
Oh,
is
does
the
it?
hard part.
Oh shit. So like every time you could kind of almost like set yourself up at like the next tree kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
But this is a pretty tough step up here. Front end's gonna want to come up and back in a big way. Oh, I figured. What do you do? Hit that? Try to launch off of it? Maybe? No. Assessing. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You know where I'll be. Hopefully another 5 feet from where you last saw me.
Yeah, as you can see, this is a bit of a struggle. The camera doesn't really do it justice, but your front end just really wants to pop up and come back at you on this particular section. So I decided to do something about that and make life a little bit easier for myself. There was a nice little rock here that I just moved into a better position, something that would kind of give me a bit of a kick to get up and over that, and then removed a few rocks here just to give myself a fighting chance once if I got up it. So again, when you're racing, you don't have the luxury of doing these things unless it's something that's just impassable. Then I guess you can sit there all day and do that. But I didn't want to tear this thing up all the hell. I knew the guys that were going to be coming through here would do that all on their own, but to give them a better chance at it, you know, I'm not going to sit here and try to spin it all up and wreak havoc on the course right before the race. So
You need here.
this, yeah, I think maybe too much for me on getting at this particular section.
For last year, I ended up fucking going off. Whoops. Oh, so slippery. Very easy to lose traction. Huh. Yeah. Okay. Worse when you're tired. Oh. How do you do it without the back end sliding out? Do you go to the tree and then hook right, or do you try to stay right? Kind of the idea, but not the idea. Ugh. It's funny, this doesn't look like much, but fuck, it's hard. One downside of having your kill switch there, inadvertently hit it.
extent of the difficult stuff. Then you just go around this
Oh, that breeze is
last
nice.
bit here and then drop into the split. The drop was pretty steep, but it wasn't anything crazy. So yeah, that's how you struggle up the pro only ridge, I guess. I'd like to go back here and try it again. This is again the night before the race, so didn't really want to waste a whole pile of energy in here, but also wanted to show myself, prove that I could get up it. So yeah, I think Drew Ellis and maybe his son also worked on this, and I'm sure there's lots of guys that worked on this. But Drew was telling me about how he had some new lines for us to hit, but it just turned out that it was a lot more difficult than they anticipated, and so they didn't want to run everybody through here because it would have just been a massive bottleneck. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. I've got a few more here I need to edit and get out, but yeah, we'll see you guys on the trails.
Never actually paid any attention to what's up here. Might take a peek.